Welcome to the Luxury Code, where we decode the mindset, the marketing, and the business approach of successful luxury brokers.
Welcome to the Luxury Code. Today I've got the world famous Ben Belack in the house.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
Dude, I am so excited you're here. And of course, your former coach.
Why is he here? He was not on the calendar invite.
I'm so sorry. He was here. I just threw him in. What's up?
Coach Pass.
Yeah, I like that.
This is a new Tom Ferry show. This is where we pit you with your old
coach,
and then your coach will now complain to you.
Exactly. Let me tell you all the things about Ben that drove me nuts and the why I kicked him out of my schedule. Okay, in all seriousness, we've got an iconic person here on the show. We're talking luxury real estate. We're talking specifically maybe Southern California now that you're also kind of in the desert, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But for the people that don't know, Ben, who you are, give them just a little backstory. What did you do before real estate? Mm-hmm. Why did you get in? And why luxury versus anything else?
Well, I'm known to be a grinder.
Yes.
Reason for that is because I grew up in Philadelphia and I moved to Los Angeles to be an actor after I graduated school. And I got to a point where I was just like, I could not wait tables anymore. And literally someone said, hey, you would be good at real estate. And I was, at that moment, I was like, anything to get out of this place.
Yes.
So
what year was that?
That was in like 2010, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011 or so.
Okay.
And then I started asking around, and someone said, the company doesn't matter, be heat-seeking to a mentor.
Yes.
Found my mentor. And then my mentor was, I basically rode his coattails from Keller Williams, where he was for 5 years. I had been there for 9 months. He's like, I'm going to Telus, which ultimately was purchased by Douglas Elliman.
Yep.
He was like, you should come with me, I think. I said, hey, you birthed me into this. I go where
let's
you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were there for 2 years to like almost the day. And then we went to the agency because he wanted to continue selling more things. I was there for 9 months with him, and then the rest is now history. I've been at the agency now, I think, for like 7 years. But
so would you say solo or mentor kind of team? How did that work? I think it's an important distinction for someone that's new and listening, because this is how all the greats got there.
You know what's funny is when I meet younger people in the business that want mentorship, they kind of want it all. They want mentorship, they want salary, they want benefits.
Leads.
And
leads.
For 3.5 years, I was on no salary of any kind with this man. And I basically said, I want to be on every call and I want to run your business. So at the very end, he gave me, which now retroactively, I probably could have used Chris Voss's book at the time.
Sure.
Maybe like a simple mirror and label.
Sure, yes.
You get me a few more points.
Yes.
What I hear you saying is you're bugging me.
Yes.
But basically at the end, I said I launched every listing and I ran every escrow. And I did that even longer than even some of his clients. They were saying, like, you should be out on your own. They were saying it to me.
Right.
But I did it because I wanted to hit the ground running. And also my company at the time was only 60 agents, and you couldn't be there.
Sure.
So I wanted them to let me stay. And so, yeah, that's basically it. I guess to answer your question more succinctly is I just wanted to crush, and I was willing to do it for free.
Right. Now, there's some, like, Ben Belack stories about calling expireds, like getting started. Like, we talk about it even today. I did it today with a live show where I said, the guy's like, well, what other ways can we get listings? And I literally said, if you're in the high end, there's actually expired listings. And I strongly recommend you go after them if you have the right strategy, the right approach, the right brand, the right track record. You know, all those things matter.
Yeah.
But I don't think you had any of those when you got started calling expireds. Unpack for us expireds for the person that's listening.
I mean, I first started door knocking when I was with the mentor, and I realized that my sphere of influence was full of people working in hospitality who could not afford to buy in Los Angeles and weren't homeowners.
Right.
And starving actors. So I turned in one day and I said, look, I think it's knock or die. And he was like, I don't know what you mean. I'm like, I have to door knock or I'm gonna die, dude. Like,
yes.
it was
I gotta go meet people because my sphere is
like, how do you not get this?
Yes. What's the old line? Like, you can pick the doors you knock, but you can't necessarily pick your sphere. They're already there. Right?
I like that. Yeah. So basically what happened for me was around 2018, and this is gonna sound super bougie, but I'm gonna run with it. I was like, I'm tired of selling houses that are $1.5 million, $2 million.
I think that's an important distinction.
That's
an iconic. I think it's an iconic move.
Why is Jason here? So basically,
he's your voice of reason.
I know. He always is.
Yes.
By the way, please continue, because if you don't, I'll go off a bougie mountaintop. That won't be good.
Hashtag bougie mountaintop. Okay.
Okay. No. But so what happened was I got to a point where I said I want to sell things that are north of $10 million. So what I realized was, because my SOI was, I did not have the benefits of nepotism, like someone's father being in the business, or just growing up there.
Sure. Yeah. I went to the right school, know everybody, yada, yada.
Yeah, or just being from LA.
Right.
I realized that my in would be expired because I knew that I could, at least I believed, that I could convince the sellers that we would both agree on one principal thing, was that the last agent didn't do a good job.
Right.
So if I could navigate the gauntlet of the calls.
If you could get the seller to say, that's right.
Yes. If you could get them to say that's right. And
Phil Jones 101 right there.
Well, it's funny too, because now my team and I, like, we've been on like this 6-week role play thing where they kind of say what they like. The person that's the agent in the role play says what they wish they had done better, and then as the trainer, I expand on ideas, and I tell them, like, you're gonna feel it in this moment of the calls when the homeowner's asking you to close them.
Right.
So we've kind of like flow charted it out in a way, which now we're in the process of mapping out top to bottom so they can have it on their wall. But for me, I just felt like and if it was a 25, 35, like massive listing, I could just tap the shoulder of someone at my company, split it, and then next time I don't need them.
Okay, but back up though. Were you coaching at this point?
No, not back then.
Okay.
We started in 2020.
Okay, 2020. Okay. So how did you even get a $25 million seller on the phone, or did you? What was your tactic to get them?
Well, actually, I got one for $8 million that had been with other agents, like one that's currently on television, and then I sold that in 2 weeks.
One that's currently on television.
Yeah, they're brothers. They couldn't sell it. I sold it in 2 weeks, and then I got another one where that was 10. I mean, it was several. And how Vulcan 7.
Okay, and just smiling and dialing.
So I got,
and occasionally they answer the phone.
No. Actually, if you buy the right data, and there's lots of data sources, they're gonna answer. They're gonna answer, and if you put in the time, they're gonna answer. And I mean, did I smile? No. I role played like a crazy person. I learned, and then what happened was, and this is what I see my team doing in the 6-week role play thing that we're doing, is after a while you stop role playing. You stop being like, ring ring, hey, it's so and so. You just drill the objection and the objection manager. Because at the end of the day, there's really only like 10 objections, and then your improv, mirroring, and labeling is what gets you the appointment.
Yes.
So
let's talk about the 10 objections. So, we're going to list with the same agent. We're going to take it off the market. Like, how do you handle just those two basic ones, the two obvious ones?
Well, I tell my team, and I'll tell everyone who's listening before I get to my scripts. Everyone just wants the scripts.
You're right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
That is, when in doubt, mirror.
Yes.
If the call's fast, mirror. Your goal is to slow the call down. If you can slow it down, then you get a chance. So my team mirrored me today when they were saying, like, good luck today talking with Tom. They were like, what time are you going? I said 1. He goes, 1 o'clock? And I was like, yeah, 1 o'clock. I started explaining 1 o'clock. I need to get there. I got to Uber. It's close. I have to check out this whole thing. So what's funny is that when the other person is explaining, they're losing, I feel. Right. So if they're explaining, you're driving the call. So the less you talk, so I'm always like, mirror, mirror, jab, mirror, label, jab. So to answer your question, we're just going to take it off the market. This is from Tom Toole. Yeah. Totally makes sense that you're going to take it off the market after something doesn't sell for 6 months. You're going to regroup, re-game plan. But can I just ask you one quick question? What is your mindset taking your house off the market in what might be the best seller's market Los Angeles has ever seen?
Well, we just thought it didn't work, and we felt we staged it properly. We thought we did all the right things, but for whatever reason, we had an offer early, but it was just totally unacceptable.
So you did all the right things.
We felt we did.
And you staged it.
we staged it, and we like did some light painting, some light cleanup as the agent recommended, and I felt it was really show ready. We got an offer that was totally unacceptable, and then it just kind of died.
So again, mirror, 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 Jeff Mays, I totally hear you and I agree with you, but I'm looking at the listing right now on Zillow and I see some glaring marketing gaps.
This is such a good one. Such a good. I hope everyone wrote that down. Give it to me again.
I just say, like, I'm looking at the listing right here on Zillow and I see some glaring marketing gaps. And what I mean specifically by that is we are in a battle of attention. Buyers are swiping through homes with attention deficit disorder on Zillow, Redfin, and Trulia with the same attention deficit disorder that they're swiping through partners on Match.com. And if we don't emotionally captivate them...
Sorry.
That's what the seller does,
You got
too.
the one single person in the room giggling over here, yes.
But that's what
Right.
seller, they usually
Right.
laugh there too.
Yeah.
And I say, if we don't emotionally captivate them, and what I mean by that specifically is, if we don't show them at first contact how their life is going to improve by buying this house at this location, they're just going to keep swiping. And that's the difference. So, by example, I'm seeing your beautiful pool as photo 36. They're out by photo 4.
Right.
So these small nuances are the differences between getting a house sold and pushing on the barriers of the local neighborhood record, and you and your last agent scratching your head and saying, I'm just going to take it off the market. So can I come by Thursday at 2 or Friday at 8? You know how it goes.
Right.
You know how it goes.
Right.
You know how it goes.
I love it. So someone listening right now who you've seen probably the same thing I see. Ben, I want to get in the luxury market, but like those sellers are different. Those buyers are different. What say you?
They're not really different. And I've heard one of my friends and colleagues on this show talk about how they're different and like you got to have the market knowledge and all that. But then how do you explain Artie Tavangarian, who is the best developer in Los Angeles, all of the major sales on Sorbonne and the Palisades, all these things for like massive numbers. He's just hiring the company that has put his daughter, where his daughter hangs a license.
Right.
So what I would say is, yes, you have to know your market, but I would say that it's more important to be known first and then liked second. The rest, you can rely on those people in your office, those affiliations in those meetings. So I used to say to people, and I still do, like, prospecting, I preach so much prospecting, but that I think in the world we're in now, particularly while we're all getting pinged so much on the phone, et cetera, is that you really got to focus on being known.
You and I are like, it's market first, prospecting second. Market first, so you know who I am.
Yeah.
Speaking of marketing, the gentleman to our right here or your left.
Yeah.
Market first, and then you follow up with phone calls, and they're like, "Oh, I know you."
It's
Right,
just
they
much.
just, like,
it's
that's the
much
game.
easier.
Yeah.
It's much easier coming when someone's friend refers you, or you're
Yes.
doing some client appreciation event, and someone brings a friend.
Right.
It is easier, and as much as I like to tout my my belt of expired role play champion
Right.
from Summit
Right.
2006.
Right. I think I still have that belt.
And as much as I think that is an art, I do think that making is just really loving on your SOI is going to get you in the room, and then you can bring in a closer.
Right. I wanted you to talk about the expired specifically because so many people that I talk to are like, okay, I want to get in. Like, how do I do it? I'm like, okay, you can take your database, you can scrub it against Google Maps, and you can see who do I already know, right? Like, I can get there that way just through relationships. I'm like, or you could buy leads in that marketplace. That's another option. We've seen a lot of people do that, certainly over the last 7 to 10 years. But the other way is I'm like, expired. So you touched on it and went there, and I loved it because I think somebody needed to hear that as a reminder to be gritty, right?
Yeah,
to be willing
it
to
is a
do the
grind.
work. It is a grind. It is a grind.
I mean, we started in our office. Our president, Billy Rose, started recently this thing like real estate stories in our office meeting. And I told a crazy story recently, which I'm not going to go into here. But the thing is like this person would not hire me no matter what, and I wanted this listing more than anything. And in the middle of a meeting that was about to start in the rain, and you don't go anywhere in the rain in SoCal. Everyone thinks it's like a blizzard.
Panic.
I literally drove all the way up to Malibu to get this very meaningful gift to this woman, and she was Chinese, so like I handed it over in a red box with my hands like this in the pouring rain. I mean, you gotta grind if you want to rise. Otherwise, you know, you can be one of those agents who I talk to when I recruit, and they're like, I've been in the business for 30 years, and I've done 600,000 in volume this year. And I'm like, cool, word.
600,000.
You know, but you will respect me because I've been doing this for 35
I've been doing this for 30
years.
years. You're like, yes.
Yeah, so if you want to...
Slow, painful death.
There are agents, I think, that want to just make money.
Yes.
And that's fine. That's all good. But if you want to rise, you're going to have to grind. You just have to pick your grind.
Right. Choose your heart, baby. Choose your heart.
Choose your heart.
Choose
Exactly.
your heart.
You just said that recently.
Yeah. So let's talk about iconic moves. The thing that I know, we know many of the same, you know, luxury agents here. I mean, I have clients in Sydney, you know, the top agents in Munich. They all did something in their career that they were like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. And then they look back 3 or 4 years later and they're like, yeah, that was me. I did that. Right.
Okay.
That was the beginning. And I can think of a couple of yours, but I'm curious for you, if I said to you, what have been the iconic moves that got you more well-known, a better brand, you know, more people talking about you being on the consideration set for more mega listings?
One was coaching.
I appreciate that. Shameless self-promotion. Here's $25. Thank you. Yes.
No, actually.
But what, okay, so
that's
unpack that. But what was it?
You know what? An ex-girlfriend of mine was like, you should go to Summit and I'll go with you.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
And we came and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this all wrong.
Really?
Yes, specifically because I was like, you know what? I'm one of those agents. And by the way, even at the agency in Beverly Hills, I see a few people who do this.
Yep.
They grind. They get under contract. They don't delegate. And then as they approach full contingency removal, as we call it in California, they start wigging out, where's my
pipeline?
Nothing else.
Where's my next deal coming? And then they
Rich, poor,
freak out.
rich, poor, rich,
Yes.
poor, rich, poor, rich, poor.
So I was like, I'm doing this wrong. I need a full pipeline. So coaching helped
Yep.
me with that, and was why I still coach today.
Love it.
The other thing was making a serious dedication to loving on my sphere, which means a couple random gifts per year.
Yep.
And now we're getting back to these client appreciation events. And what I realized was that the venue was more important than what was going on there. So now, just because of the type of city I live in, we're trying to do it at places like Soho House, San Vicente Bungalows, if we can get a room, because people that can't normally get in.
It's an iconic experience.
Exactly.
Yes.
And if they can't get in, I'll get them in, basically. So
Yes.
that we're working on that. And then, of course, making a very unrelenting commitment to working the phones to grow the sphere larger.
Yes.
And then, of course, my YouTube stuff. And then, lastly, building a team.
So 5 iconic moves, right? The acknowledgement that potentially there's a better way, right? You can build a repeatable and scalable business, coaching, pipeline, all that stuff. Number 2, though, was you said loving on your sphere, and you started by saying a couple of gifts. So did you read the book Giftology? Did you hear the interview I did with the author? Or was that just innately something you were already give to get, give to receive, or law of reciprocity?
To be honest, I didn't read a book on it because I was like, I don't need to read a book. I was going to give some gifts.
Yeah, I get that.
So I would just start, I was like, I'm going to send a candle out. And then I started sending like those things that you touch your phone to, and then it gives you a business card, but that had my logo on it.
Yeah.
I don't remember where. You know what? It may have been from a colleague. I'm not sure, but I just felt it was a way to stay in touch and to say, I'm thinking about you.
In 2018, I think I had Glenda Baker on stage, and she talked about, 17 days before closing, a box of cupcakes would show up with a countdown 1 through 17.
Oh, my
and I was
gosh.
like, oh, that's beautiful, right? Like it's you remember it, right? You hope that it closes on time, because otherwise, here's an extra cupcake just in case, right?
Here's the contingency cupcake.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the $2,500 to you from the lender cupcake. So good.
Wow,
Sorry, Glenda.
we are real estate nerds.
Right.
Because that's not funny to anyone else.
Yes. .com. Okay. So a little giftology, client events. I have been the biggest advocate of client parties, and it's so like, do you ever have no one's ever going to show up? They all
Yes.
RSVP, but no one's going to show up, and I'm on the hook for like food and drinks in this location.
Well,
And
we stole a really good idea from Soho House. Soho House would do like a trivia night once a month.
Smart.
And what they would do is the winning group, their bill would be paid for.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what we do is we do trivia, and they'll be like, let's say it's around the holidays. We'll do 10 questions that are really Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and Christmas centric.
Yes.
And then we'll play like a small amount of 20 songs, and we'll give, and then I can't remember what the second round is, but basically
a small amount of 20.
Sure.
Let's start with Inagata Davida by Iron Butterflies. 14
it'll just
minutes
be
long.
Like, we'll play like 6 seconds.
Straight into Stairway to Heaven.
So basically we'll give prizes, good prizes.
Yeah.
At every round.
So
and
it's
then,
fun.
Yeah, and then also
Yes.
we'll have a step and repeat up and say, look, if you give Ben a positive video review in front of our step and repeat, we're going to put you in a drawing to win an iPad today.
Love it.
So we
Love
just
it.
make it fun for them. They can win stuff, and again, the venue is important
Yes.
too. So
Yes.
we do those two. We do 2 of those a year. That's the plan. Although COVID put a
Sure.
hamper in that.
But I'm seeing everybody, I don't know about you with your coaching schedule, I'm seeing my clients racing back to it. Mega open houses, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Big time.
local, hey, this new listing, invite all the neighbors coming back in. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Have to.
here we go, man. The world's normalizing. We took our masks off on the airplane. Like,
I know.
It's go time.
I was actually kind of heartbroken because I made a commitment to start really going hard on those right, like heading into 2020.
Yeah. Mm.
So when everything went down, I was really heartbroken because I was so I get really excited by new things for the business.
For sure.
It's just part of my personality. I need
Yes.
to kind of be like not just creatively, but creatively within the realm of entrepreneurship. I need to be excited by that potential shot in the arm that the business is
100%.
going to get. So I was excited by that.
It's every 18 months is what I find. Every 18 months we need to add something new, reinvent something that all of a sudden your energy is like, I
Re-energize.
can't sleep. I want to go. I want to do this again. I want to tell everybody about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the fourth thing under iconic moves was your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and you fluffed that off like it was no big deal and then went right to teams. I remember sitting in the room, so do you, myself, and Jay Abraham.
Tom takes credit for this, by the way.
I-
Every time I see him, he brings this moment up. And
Ladies
now
and
it is
gentlemen.
memorialized on the podcast.
Yes,
He
I
remembers
finally did it.
Okay, but go ahead, please.
I tried to talk him out of video, but the bastard did it anyway. God, I was like, with a personality like yours, you should be a writer.
Yeah, you were like, you have a
definitely
face for
video. Okay, tell your version of the story then.
So basically, we were at this podcast. Oh, no, not podcast. We were at this mastermind.
Yes.
No. Please tell it your way. I want to hear your way.
Well, we were talking about preeminence. We were
Yes.
talking about how do you scale trust.
Yeah.
And remember, we're sitting with this collection of some pretty extraordinary characters
Totally.
in this industry.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that was there, whether they were from Hawaii or New York City, everybody was somebody in their marketplace. But the thing that I kept saying to everybody was, look, the thing that put me on the map was in 2007. I got in front of a flip video
Yes.
camera and went like this. Hey, welcome to Life by Design. People are like, why is your hand always coming away? I'm like, because I am the editor. It's
the magic trick.
Right?
Oh my God.
And why does every video end like this? Right? But I remember just talking to you, and as your personality continued to shine during that event, it was just obvious, right, that this was a waste of talent, right? Unless you put yourself on video, and I didn't care what platform because I knew any platform you picked, your chops, your personality, your worldview, your energy, your passion, I just knew it would explode.
Thanks, man. I
That was
appreciate
it.
that.
All right, podcast's over. Thanks. I just wanted to get that out
Yeah,
there.
it's because I said coaching was one of them. I got that one.
Yeah.
But what? No.
But what was the decision and what have you done?
Okay.
And unpack for us some of the details.
So basically, when we were in this mastermind, which I actually feel like, like part of the what do they call it? What's that like private group? The Illuminati, because like you haven't done
Yes,
one since.
exactly.
Yeah, you do lots of masterminds, but not like that one.
That one was insane.
So I was like,
yes.
yeah, I was in that one.
Yeah.
So basically, when we were in there, there was a guy in there who he's like, I was like, am I in the right room? He like owned the brokerage. He had a team before like this massive move to teams.
right.
He owned the escrow company title. But anyway, well, I remember Jay had done this example, and we Googled Jay.
Yes.
And he had like 4.3 trillion results on Google.
Exactly. His name.
Right?
You were like, that guy's someone.
And then we Googled another agent in the room who was very successful, and there was like 8 results.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, I get it. So I remember when we were in there, I just felt the group and you and Jay helped me to understand was, again, that my focus needed to be more on being known, specifically for one reason. The guys and gals who are on $1 Million Listing, we can easily see that they are at a certain height in their business, at least in sales volume.
Sure.
But then you look back at like the Mauricio Yamanskis, the Billy Rose, Blair Chang, these people that have been in the business for decades,
Right.
and they're crushing. And what I realized was I had two choices. I could either be on TV or be on YouTube, or I could wait 30 years and hope. And hope is not a strategy.
Right.
So I said, I have no choice based on what my ambitions are, and that's why I chose to do the YouTube route.
See, that's the strategy right there. And it was your ambition. Because I tell people all the time, like, should I geographic farm? Like, yes, if you can wait 12 to 18 months and you can do it for 10 or 20 years, you will control it takes a decade. You'll control the marketplace. Or you can accelerate it by doing this, and they go, okay.
Yeah,
but doing video is scary.
I mean, is it though? And the thing is, I hate when I have to say like, "Oh, I was an actor," because then people come on and they're like, "Oh, he was an actor."
So easy for you.
I mean, I wasn't Tom Cruise. I'm still a real estate agent.
Yeah, you're like, hey,
was I that
I
good?
didn't make it as an actor.
Was I that good?
Right.
So like, I really think that the more you do it, it's just what you do. It's not that hard. And what I will say is that if you just try it and commit to it, all of those things you were thinking about, they go away like on day 2.
They do.
They don't have to wait.
Right. Okay. What videos, in your opinion, as his coach, did he do that really could be deemed iconic?
So the thing I was thinking about is his byline or the signature line.
Give it to us.
I want to hear
What
you
is
do
it?
it.
What is
Beverly Hills Super Realtor.
Like when I wanted him to do it. What's funny about that line is that I didn't think of it at all. There was no thought behind it. And sometimes I wake up in the morning like in tears. I'm like, why did I do that? But I was like,
There goes Ben Belack, super realtor.
I know.
Yes.
I was like, I've seen some YouTube videos and there's an intro.
Right. Yeah. I gotta have
So
something.
I was like, hey guys, and I was like, people say, hey guys.
Right.
So I was just like, hey guys, Ben Belack, Beverly Hills Super Realtor, and I've been saying it since.
And it just stuck.
I've been saying it since. It literally, there was no thought
Do you
behind
think,
it.
truthfully, like he went through Google Analytics, like, what do people search for?
Super Realtor. Well, it's funny, like when you run a Google ad, like the default language is excellent real estate agent. Like that's the default, but I digress.
Okay, I'll
But
take it.
So your videos, like you do a lot of home tour videos and take people through some amazing properties. I remember this one video you did where you were touring a pretty popular home. And at the end of it, there was a half pipe in the backyard.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so you went barefoot skateboarding in a half pipe. And then I remember this is when we were working together. You published the video and had a kind of a generic thumbnail image on it. And I
It was
watched
just like
the video.
a $20 million compound in West Hollywood.
And I was like,
Wah,
you need
wah,
to.
wah. Who cares, right?
I was like, you need to redo the thumbnail.
Sure.
Yeah, you did. Real estate
Right.
aficionado.
Yes.
But then I was like, change the thumbnail, do the half pipe. And so you did. And then it just flipping skyrocketed
that's
in
right.
views.
Right.
But I think that's what you do really well is you're an amazing tour guide. And I mean that in the highest praise. Like you're
Thank you.
amazing at walking people through a property, pointing out details, making it entertaining. And you're one of the few people who I think does long form video at a really high level.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I agree.
That's my favorite
I
piece
agree.
of it is the long form.
Yes.
What's crazy is I had a system with my expireds where I just like wake up in the morning, turn to my phone, move everyone into a bucket, and then it puts them on like an auto video text campaign.
Yep.
And I ended up getting a response from this woman, and then she was like, we're going to take 2 weeks off. And I mirrored, and then nothing really. And then on that Friday, I had put another expired under contract, and I was pumped. So I just sent her a video text. I'm like, I know you're taking some time off, but I just put this like $18 million thing under contract with my buyer, and I just wanted to share the news with someone because I'm pretty stoked. Have a great weekend.
Yes.
Because I don't care. I want them to.
Did you actually record it like that? Is that
Yeah,
actually what
pretty
you said?
much.
See,
I mean,
I
it's a
actually love
version
it.
of
I love that.
I love that.
People want to be chased. They want to be wanted. They want you to
Right.
be excited about what you
Right.
do.
And also, I was credible,
Right,
but
he
I
just
wasn't
did it.
on
He
the
can do it
nose.
again.
I
Right,
wasn't on
yeah,
the nose. So, basically, they had me over, and then, long story short, I get the listing. I sell this for $8 million, and the owner, the husband, ended up being the former CEO and president of Coffee Bean, and he was so happy because they were trying to leave for so long and sell this house. And He said, I will tell your story any way you want.
Wow.
So I took those questions that we got, I think, at that one elite retreat.
Yes.
And I said, I need you to film yourself answering these questions. And he did it from his place in Miami with this crazy ocean behind him.
Yes.
He filmed this amazing endorsement of mine, which we recut. And now on every listing appointment I go to, I go, look, at this level, every agent is going to tell you they're number one at something. We're all I'm literally in the mesmerizing business, and we're all going to try to out mesmerize you. But you know what? Instead of me telling you how great I am, I'm going to let John. And I play the video.
That's great.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that so many people are just so gosh darn serious.
Yes.
And I'm not saying to not be serious. You have to take it seriously, but be a human.
But there's also the setup for that. Hey, I'm in the mesmerize business.
Yeah.
You're setting up the stage for the punch, right? So I'm not going to tell you because anybody watch what John has to say.
And then it comes up.
Smooth move.
And then it comes up. Former CEO and president of Coffee Bean. So there's more credibility. So anyway, really, I want to just touch on one thing. Now it's like my podcast on the YouTube.
Thanks for having me on your show, man.
Is Jason available? So what I wanted to touch on with YouTube is that I don't know. I think that you can absolutely 1,000% get leads in a market that isn't quite as saturated as mine and where people aren't online looking for real estate porn, like my market.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the one thing that changed video for me, and by the way, the woman who I was just speaking of, on my meeting with her, she quoted a video that I made of a 2020 year-end recap. Something about it was like, what are you planning to do at the end of the year? And I said that, and she quoted it. So what I learned that video does for not only my SOI, but also the expired and canceled leads, let's say, that say, yes, I'll meet with you Tuesday, you call them Monday, for some reason it doesn't happen. It builds passive rapport and credibility in my stead.
Don't you talk about this at your seminars?
I taught Jason this.
Yes. Ben told me everything I know.
Of course you did.
It's all from Ben. That's why he had to leave my coaching schedule.
Yes. But it's so so I used to get a lot of flack from other coaches and people that do what I do. And they would say, you're putting out this content for free. You're going to tank our industry. People were paying us, $400 to go to a seminar. Now you put everything out there for free. And my response was, I can touch way more people. And I was starting a new company. I was putting myself on the map. Hey, like me or not, here I am. And enough people said, I like that guy. Right? And not everybody signs up for coaching. Not everybody goes to an event. But I got people all over the world watching. It builds credibility and trust. That's how I look at it.
Not only that, it's also a feedback loop because
for sure,
when you put video out there all the time, while everybody else is waiting for behind the paywall, you can watch our videos. We're getting feedback in real time of what resonates, where's engagement, and
how many likes, how many comments, how many shares, the feedback that people say. I literally had somebody say to me after a recent podcast, okay, you're laughing at having too much fun during this show. I was like, what? Sorry? Sorry. Someone will say it here, right? Right. I was like, okay. Katie, make note. No more fun on the show. Tyrese, you got that? And then in the show notes, producer says, no more fun.
No more fun.
So if that was you, by the way, that was for you.
But also what I can do is let's say I have a video that has 100,000 views or something. Yes. Whether you buy those views or not, you have the option to buy them. For example, we do agent pro tips on my team, which I stole from His Royal Majesty.
Yes. Tom Toole.
Yes. And what I do, what Tom needs to do is Tom needs to take one of those videos and put $300 into it. And it'll get
suddenly get 100,000 views.
And then on every recruiting meeting, he can say, look what I'm doing with my agents and look how many views this has. Is it a little wrong? Maybe.
I mean, it
nothing to see here.
But here's the thing too about YouTube views, the paid views. Views are 2 to 4 cents for a 30-second view on YouTube. They're cheap.
Yeah.
In any market, anywhere, no matter what. And the other thing is I've noticed I have a lot of clients running YouTube ads. We're getting better watch completion rates on paid in-stream ads, the ones that are skippable, than we are on organic videos. We're seeing 50 to 80% watch rates.
Wow. That's bananas.
And it's because if you choose the right audience to target with content that meets their needs, you're going to get a watch.
They'll watch.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll watch.
Yes.
And the other thing is if I have someone who is an expired and let's say they say something aggressive to me, I'm like, hey, I just sold this right down the street street from you. Here's the home tour, and I sold it for $8 million. And then what are they going to do? Not click on the thumbnail that comes up in the preview of me with like a dinosaur behind me or whatever it is. So they're going to watch.
Yes.
So the video, you can, aside from repurposing it across TikTok and Instagram and every other
place.
platform, you really can use it as a business card.
100%.
Check this out.
Check
Here's
out
me being credible. This is how I'm going to show your house.
It's a brand. You've built a personal brand.
Yeah. So it works so much aside from like, I hate when people say like, how many leads are you getting? And I'm like, I don't know.
You know what Timmy Smith says? I don't know. My phone keeps ringing and people say, hey, are you going to come to my house and list it? What video are you going to shoot? I mean, that's a good lead.
Yeah.
Hi, we'd like
really
to sell
good.
our house and we watched all your videos. And what video? Are there going to be naked people dancing in our house? Right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah, so I think, and
Totally.
then after YouTube, I think the team building portion, but very specifically, I had this wonder when in my beta mode of starting a team.
Yes.
I had a guy who, because I put out a lot of content, I got a lot of DMs of people saying, be my mentor.
Sure.
So
of
I had a
course.
guy say all the right things. He was an actor. He was also waiting tables, and he articulated exactly what he wanted and the value he was going to bring, right? And he really, truly could never get over his imposter syndrome talking to people and stuff. But what's crazy was he ended up leaving the team because he felt bad. He was getting so much support and nothing was happening. But what's crazy is
That's interesting.
I know. It
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
was. He kind of like bowed out.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is we started really using tracking. And I would say to them, how's calling going this week or whatever it may be. But once the dialers were integrated into Sisu, how'd calling go? Great. Really? I see
0.
I see 0.3 hours of power.
Yes.
Immediately quit.
Yeah.
So that was also another big thing for me was putting the scoreboard up.
Right. So we talk about the 4 disciplines of execution. Extraordinary book. Execution number 1 is have a wildly important goal, right? This is who we are. That's what we want to do. Number 2 is know and track the numbers, right? Like know your KPIs. Hey, it's 54 conversations to get a sale, right?
lag.
And then you've got to have that scoreboard. The second you put a scoreboard up, everybody's like this.
Yeah,
Man, it just got
they
real.
clench.
It just got real. Well, I'm not that competitive, Ben. Like, I don't really want my numbers up
Really?
there. You mean your number?
Yeah, it's that was a really big change for
Yeah.
me too. And
Yes.
and frankly, when I recruit and I show people Sisu,
Yeah.
the right agents want to join.
Right.
That helps with recruiting too.
Business people want to join.
Yeah, they're like, I want to be
Ambitious.
held accountable. Yeah, I want to be held accountable. Wait, what? What is this? Did you create this on your own?
Yeah. Today's show is brought to you by Sisu.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't being rude in the middle of this. I just went to your YouTube channel to get a sense. So you joined in September of 2016, but I would argue you didn't do anything for a while.
No.
And then today you're sitting at a little sub of 1.1 million views. And a lot of people get hung up. We're going to come back to the team in a second, but a lot of people get hung up in like, not enough people are watching my stuff. I want from the both of you, if someone says that and they feel like they're putting out quality content, should they spend $300 every single time, or which ones should they, if they were to invest to have more people see their content?
Wait, in advertising?
Yes.
Wait, I just took a consult and I've been wanting to talk to you about this, so we can use this moment.
Are we doing this
You're
right now?
probably gonna
Here we go.
You may disagree, actually.
hear it.
Okay, so I was trying to understand because I kept getting these comments like, "What this channel should be like massive," and I was once we got a bunch of those, I was like, "Wait, maybe it should be?"
Should I take this more seriously?
So we
Yes.
took a consult with this guy who wrote a book called The YouTube Formula, who works with Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
And his only clients remaining, aside from like teaching, coaching, and stuff like that, is YouTube and Google. He still consults with them. So, as you guys know, I do actually what you recommend because I didn't think of it. You told me to do it, both of you in separate ways and times, which was home tours, driving tours, and then the last mastermind I went to with you in Orange County, when my aha moment, well, 2 of them, but one of them was the Dave Caldwell marketing.
Right.
So
The
I
market-
started
the
doing
market
the market
update.
updates.
The market
Ours are
updates.
3 minutes.
I just was literally seeing your Beverly Hills market update, and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
right on.
I've been doing
They
it
kill
since
it.
the moment I got home, because I'm like, I can do this with my teleprompter and on my phone, whatever's easy. So what he told me was, and I believe TubeBuddy has an alternate opinion, but what he told me is that if you want he said, what is your goal? And I said, I want more people that are looking to buy and sell Los Angeles to be on my channel.
Right.
And he said that to do that, and by the way, this was his recommendation, I think you need to split your channels. He said, I want you to leave your driving tours and your home tours on the main channel. And then I want you to create a separate channel for all of your agent pro tips, for your market updates, et cetera, that are a little bit more short form.
Yes.
And he said, then eventually you're going to prune away some of those videos, particularly those that are no longer relevant as they're not evergreen as far as like the market data goes.
Yeah.
And you will just have driving tours and home tours. And he said the reason for that particularly was that when you spend money to advertise, because people just naturally as human beings, more so than not, are clicking skip ads,
Right.
it's messing with your retention. And because of that, it's not helping you with the YouTube referral engine, which is what we're all trying to hack all the time.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting. We're just starting. So he's like, you can spend all the money you want on the market updates. Just keep the paid advertising away. So while you...
So just to be clear, 2 channels or
2 channels.
sub-channels on your main page?
Two channels.
Separate channels.
2 separate channels.
Okay.
And I was really blown away to hear that because I was also liking the numbers that we were putting into the advertising. But I also felt like, particularly from the people that I care about the most in this arena, telling me that you two included, that the content was strong. And I just felt like I was seeing other channels that had larger subscriber base or putting out super boring stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why we did this consult with him. And I guess what I can say is to be continued. I'll
Right.
let you know what happens.
ABT, always be testing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll let
I
you
would-
know.
What do you think? What's your
So I would say what he was advising is probably in keeping with what TubeBuddy would mostly say. So I've done a fair bit of research. I'm sure this guy's done more than me. What you describe is called a stealth channel, and it's a pretty widely practiced thing. I have a stealth channel for running ads. YouTube's algorithm cares about 3 things. It cares about click-through rate. If I see your video on YouTube anywhere, did I click it to watch it or not? It cares about watch time. If I did click it to watch it, how long am I watching it? And then last, it cares about audience retention. That watch time gets annihilated if people keep skipping your ad. But the thing is, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Like with my clients, I'm seeing 50 to 80% watch times on their videos they're running for ads. And so most of the people I've listened to say, like, there's nothing in the algorithm that says we're going to penalize you for running ads. It's if the ads produce a negative organic result, because anything's,
That's what his point was.
But I
Exactly
think
that.
your bigger issue has to do with the audience retention variable. So when he separated off content that was dissimilar from the tours, YouTube works really, really hard to understand who is this channel, what content did they make, so they can drop it into the recommendation engine. And you had disparate content. And so by separating the channels, you're giving your organic channel a chance to really find its own, so to speak, and then to find that right target audience.
Exactly.
And so I think it has more to do with that, because that audience retention is unique, because basically what it says in my own simplistic terms is a brand new baby channel will never be more popular in any rankings than an established channel. But like on TikTok, that's not a thing.
No.
You can have no followers and go viral because they have a high virality coefficient. But YouTube has that anchor that says we want slow, steady growth. But anybody who's doing YouTube, anybody I talk to, they hit a certain point where it's like all of a sudden the iceberg just pierced through the top of the water,
totally.
Right.
and it won't stop. Once
That's what
they
I'm
get there.
trying to do. It's very simply, I'm trying to help Google and YouTube index me as easily as possible, and I want to make sure that my vision for their place in the index is aligned with my business goals.
Yes.
So that's why we're trying.
Well, I think it's, I mean, given the, like, agent-facing content should, I think, totally be separated. I think it's going to confuse YouTube about what your channel is.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Tom Tools found the same thing in that discussion recently. Like a lot of people that are creating content, unless your page is just set up for recruiting.
Yes.
Right? But in this case, I want people to validate I'm the best listing agent. And then they're like,
Yes.
why is he training real estate agents on this page?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what is this golf
Yeah.
videos all about?
or worst case, because you know how they refer your next video?
Right.
I don't want them referring an agent pro tips video
Exactly.
after a
Are
tour.
you calling expired listings? Here's the 5 most important. They're like, is that what I am? Is that how he reached me?
No, it's like when we're watching the Kardashians, I yell to my girlfriend, I'll be like, get me out of this. It'll be the same thing. I don't want that happening on my YouTube channel.
Right. Okay, so let's recap. You couldn't make it as a waiter, so you became a real estate agent, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that it? Oh, it was
I was
actor.
actually Beverly Hills super waiter.
Do you realize we were both waiting tables in the same year, and both of us had tables tell us to go into real estate?
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We were meant for
We were
this.
meant for-
You and
we
I
were-
have been
Okay,
on a
this is
crash
getting
course.
really. This is
We've
getting
been on a
really
crash
weird all of a
course.
sudden. Yes. Hold
Did
on.
you know I'm your
hold on.
neighbor?
Here,
Just
look.
kidding.
Now I'm gonna put this on you, so you guys can be matchy.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Good.
Couldn't make it as an actor. Got into real estate. I love the fact that you spent 3 or 4 years being a mentee and really getting gritty and learning the business, because that's a lost art for a lot of people. Everybody wants it so fast, and it can happen, but it's highly unlikely.
Very unlikely.
You did all the hard stuff. You knocked on doors. You called expireds. You figured out all the stuff that makes people great at this business. So the layups become infinitely easier
Yeah.
when you've gone through the Detroit Pistons to make a layup, and they
Yeah,
were
exactly.
just banging on you, Michael Jordan, right? But then the iconic moves, like getting a coach, the realization that there's more to be done out there, right? The second one was loving on your sphere, which is so great to hear after expireds, because some people think, oh, if he or she does expireds, they're just a sniper. That's all they
Yeah.
do. They're not really loving on their clients. So that, the events, and then video, and then building your team, which we only talked about a tad. We have to have you on the show again and really
I'm
unpack
ready.
team. One last story. Greatest listing you ever sold, worst deal you ever did in the high end.
They're actually the same. And I'm going to humanize myself and also probably make people not want to do luxury. I cold called a house that was $20 million. I got the meeting. I brought Mauricio along with me, who, by the way, was celebrating, I think, his 50th in Aspen.
Yeah.
So like I literally brought 2 iPads, one for my presentation and one with him on.
Yes.
And like he was like definitely partying. He had like a flannel shirt, like all this hair coming out of his shirt, and like he had an afro. And
You didn't bring the
just like,
daughter.
Dude, why
or
am I
Billy?
bringing you
Yeah,
to this?
You're not
I'm
helping.
like, behold, Mauricio Umansky. So the Playboy Mansion. He's like, hey, what's going on? Well, anyway, so we get this listing. The biggest agent on the planet was unable to sell it. An agent on $1 Million Listing was unable to sell it. Not only do I sell this, but I sell it to my own buyer. And the one thing about my own buyer that he knew about was title, and we had a not clean title. So it took a lot
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we took a lot of. It was going to take a lot of time to clear it up, but basically there was. And by the way, these sellers were notoriously difficult, known to be such even in town.
Yes.
And this was going to be like a huge leverage point for me. I was going to spend $1 million marketing. I'm like,
yes.
So anyway, that said, we finally get there and we're approaching a close, which was already going to be a long close, and they had announced like a sale at the courthouse steps. And the sellers kept saying, it's going away, it's going to go away, it's going to go away. And I had worked on this for like 15, 16 months and like a lot of just aggravation. Because our buyer uniquely understood title, because what he used to do in his 20s, he just kept watching. And even though the seller said it's not going to go, it went. And he went to the courthouse steps and he bought the house, and I made no commission and no credit.
Youch.
Youch is right. But
Youch.
here's the thing.
What's the lesson?
The lesson is who cares? Fill your pipeline. I mean, I was like bummed and like I really wanted it, but like if you're not, you said this on your Mindset Monday, which I actually just played for my team yesterday because the market's shifting and it's dynamic right now.
Right.
Is you gotta choose your hard, and you have to show up, right? Tell the truth.
Pay
all
attention,
these
tell the
things.
truth. Don't be attached to the outcome.
Don't be attached to the outcome. So was I bummed? Yes. Do I still make a good amount of money? Yeah, I do. I have other things I'm enjoying and fulfilled from transferring my skills to my team. I have other very large listings. Did I really want to be able to say I double-ended a deal for which would have been like $35 million? Yes, but like it'll come. And I did still cold call my way into that.
That's impressive.
It is.
So,
You know what? First of all, I appreciate the humility, right? I really do, because like it's so hard for people to get. We only lose when we only learn really when we get punched in the face, right? It's that moment when you sit there and go, oh, I really screwed that up. Okay, what's a better approach? What can I learn from this? How can I never make that mistake again? Or you learn like, I can call my way into a $20 million listing.
Yeah,
I
true.
did that, right? There's so many insights in there. So I love the.
I mean,
just
it
the
sucks. I
humility
don't mean
of
to
that.
make like a somber kind
No,
of
I appreciate
culmination
it.
to this
Yeah.
thing, but like, so many people are really focused on luxury, and for different people, luxury is a different thing because it's all relative.
Right.
But the higher you go, the more vested you are in the listings and time, emotion. Some of these take like 3 to 5 years to sell sometimes, and the wins can be great, but the losses can be equally as great. So you have to, as my mom used to say, like, be careful what you ask for because you might just get it. So it's amazing and fun, and $250,000 checks they're sick, but it's not like you have to.
They don't fall from trees.
Yeah, they don't. And I'm not saying it's that high. Like, I love it all, but I just feel like if your goal is world domination, it may not be luxury. Look at like all the people on like the top 500 list. It's all like Home Depot and Lowe's and like the people that are in volume. So all I'm saying is, like, don't crap on the lower stuff.
Yeah. Always. I used to say every closing is a good closing.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was a Winnebago, they took the wheels off and sold it on dirt. It was a good closing.
Yeah.
And then a $20 million mansion. Awesome. All right. We got to wrap it up to stay on track. This has been super fun. Jason spoke way too much on this show.
It's a lot. This was like our coaching calls. He didn't get a word in.
It's very chatty.
Ben, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Make sure you follow Ben everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tinder. Just kidding. Right? Everywhere. Match.com for sure.
Guys, my girlfriend will see this.
Exactly. We're just kidding. All right.
There's a reference to
But
earlier.
it absolutely has been fun. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Leave
you.
some comments. Let us know what you want to see more of, less of, all that good stuff. We appreciate you always. See you guys on the next show.